which, by the way, how annoying is The View getting? God, they're insufferable, that lot, aren't they? It's just a side effect. But she told Joy Behar that she's scared as heck.
Piers Morgan decided to destroy The View, and he didn't just throw a little shade, he brought a whole thunderstorm. But what made Piers Morgan so mad? Let me show you.
And it's this permanently offended, snowflakey, cancel culture mob who descend like a pack of hornets on anything they can get themselves into, trying to suppress everyone's right to an opinion.
Piers Morgan took aim at The View in a way that can only be described as a whirlwind of controversy. This wasn't just a casual jab, it was a full-scale thunderstorm. So, what ruffled Piers's feathers so much? Let's break it down. For years, Morgan has been one of the most vocal critics of cancel culture, calling it a dangerous threat to free speech and even comparing it to fascism. He's consistently spoken out about how it stifles open dialogue and leaves people afraid to share their opinions. Clearly, he's passionate about this cause. But here's where things get ironic. The same man who's made it his mission to fight cancel culture is now advocating for the cancellation of The View. In his column for the New York Post, Piers didn't hold back, labeling the show as an irrelevant, Trump-bashing mess and calling for its end. Harsh, right? But does he have a point?
And progressive voices at The View reacted to her appointment like this.
I think she's probably been put in there because according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that.
According to Piers Morgan, the show has devolved into little more than a daily hate fest targeting Donald Trump. He argues that the hosts no longer even attempt to conceal their disdain, resorting to open mockery and relentless criticism day after day. In Morgan's view, it's no longer just political. It's personal. He took things a step further by admitting that his worst nightmares involve being stranded on a deserted island with the show's hosts. He described these imagined scenarios as mentally scarring and eerily repetitive, but Piers didn't stop there. He proceeded to criticize each host individually. First in the spotlight was Joy Behar. Morgan didn't hold back, accusing her of once wearing blackface at a Halloween party and later trying to sweep it under the rug. Harsh, right?
Is this Joy speaking? The same Joy? The same Joy that paraded around in blackface not too long ago? Come on, Joy, I don't think you should be asking these questions. I am
Excuse me.
Next up, there's Alyssa Farah Griffin. Piers didn't hold back when criticizing her for what he sees as a complete turnaround. She once praised Trump, calling him a brilliant president, but now acts like he's the worst leader in history. Morgan labeled her a flip-flopper, and honestly, can you really blame him for thinking that? One moment she's singing his praises, and the next, she's casting him as the villain in some poorly written drama. So was it a genuine change of heart or just a strategic career move?
The operative word is authentic for me. And I think Nikki Haley has been inauthentic from day one. She has flipped. This is a woman that I don't find authentic at all. And
I was referring just to this moment, by the way.
I'm referring to this moment, too.
You don't think that was a real emotion?
You don't think it was real?
And I think that is something...
serving in counterterrorism.
Well, I think that there's something that that military families do go through. I come from a military family, as many of us do. And I don't trust her authentic.
Piers wasn't done yet. He next took aim at Sunny Hostin, accusing her of unfairly criticizing U.S. politician Nikki Haley for allegedly faking emotions over her husband's military deployment. Morgan also called Hostin a hypocrite, pointing out that while she criticized Haley for not using her real first name, Hostin doesn't use hers either. And of course, there's Whoopi Goldberg, the reigning figure of The View. Piers didn't hold back, mentioning her past controversies, including her suspension following comments about the Holocaust that sparked widespread backlash. He also reminded readers of the time she defended director Roman Polanski, a stance that stirred its own wave of outrage. Morgan argued that The View has strayed far from its original purpose as a platform for discussion. In his eyes, it's no longer about meaningful debate, but rather a one-sided echo chamber pushing a specific agenda. And it's pretty obvious which side they favor.
Last week you called white Republican women cockroaches.
Actually, I didn't. And
you said they're acting like cockroaches.
I used it as similar. Let me answer that.
Okay.
I used that.
Let's be honest, whether you're a Trump supporter or not, it's hard to ignore The View's unmistakable bias. Many viewers are actually backing Piers Morgan's criticisms, saying he hit the nail on the head. The show was originally intended to be a platform for diverse perspectives, but that mission seems long forgotten. Here's the twist. Some critics are now questioning whether Piers is guilty of the same behavior he condemns. Is he just creating a similar dynamic where everyone picks a side and swings away? Others argue that The View doesn't necessarily need to be canceled. Maybe it just needs a major reset. Right now, it feels more like a never-ending left-wing therapy session with no room for actual debate. Wouldn't it be far more engaging to witness real discussions instead of Republicans constantly being roasted on repeat? The show's political lean is so intense, it's almost doing the limbo. Conservative guests often arrive prepared to share their views, only to find themselves caught in what feels like a chaotic WWE match, blindsided by the intensity. It's less about debate and more like an intellectual roast where one side controls the mic while the other just hopes for a commercial break. Sound familiar? We've all seen it. Someone tries to make a point, and suddenly the show descends into a group chat-style argument. Viewers at home are often left in shock, with some even joking that The View has become less about conversation and more about drama. Imagine this for a moment. A calm, reasoned debate on The View. No interruptions, no side eyes, just thoughtful conversation. Now that would be groundbreaking. Forget surprise celebrity appearances. Letting someone finish a sentence without getting verbally bulldozed would be the plot twist of the year. And just when things couldn't get more dramatic, enter the Kamala Harris episode. When Harris appeared on the show, Morgan didn't hold back, once again branding The View as downright insufferable.
Kamala Harris, not for the reason she would like to be one of my favorite people. She appeared on The View today, which, by the way, how annoying is The View getting? God, they're insufferable.
Piers Morgan is certainly not alone in his criticism, given the reputation The View has earned as a chaotic battleground. Hosts seem to spend half their time talking over each other, and the other half nodding in agreement as if they've just solved the Da Vinci Code. But Morgan's critique wasn't just about the noise. It was a jab at how the show has turned into a political comfort zone for Democrats. To make his point, he even played a clip featuring Kamala Harris and Joy Behar grilling a guest about the possibility of Trump winning again, dismissing his supporters as crazy.
First of all, what could happen if Trump ever became, God forbid, president again? And what are you going to do to stop the crazies?
I am scared as...
Piers Morgan highlighted how Kamala Harris was navigating a political minefield during that exchange. If she agreed too strongly with Behar, she risked alienating moderate voters. Pushing back too hard could upset the audience, who likely tuned in just to hear more Trump bashing. So what did Harris do? She played it safe, nodding along and steering the conversation toward fear-mongering, suggesting that everyone should be worried.
I'm traveling our country. You know, there's an old saying that there are only two ways to run for office. Either without an opponent or scared. So on all of those points, yes, we should all be scared.
Piers Morgan saw this as a missed chance for genuine discourse, and he wasn't the only one. His panel mocked the idea that the Vice President of the United States, someone in one of the most powerful positions in the world, would be so intimidated by a 77-year-old man with a comb-over.
Support Trump. This reminded me of Hillary Clinton with her basket of deplorables jibe about what is, in reality, tens of millions of Americans.
Listen, you can't compare it to Hillary Clinton.
They pointed out that Kamala Harris has the full backing of one of the world's most powerful military forces, yet she acted as if Trump were some unstoppable horror villain. Instead of presenting real policy solutions, she leaned into the fear narrative. Piers and his panel sarcastically speculated whether her entire campaign strategy was built around constantly repeating, "I'm afraid." Not exactly a bold move for a candidate, right?
I get off on a tangent or not know what you're talking about. You and I've discussed this. Feelings.
Yeah.
You can discuss feelings. I'm afraid, so I can't be wrong. No one can argue.
But here's where it gets interesting. Some panelists defended Kamala Harris, arguing that while she might not have inspired anyone, she skillfully avoided major political landmines. They pointed out that when asked about race in America, she didn't go as far as claiming the country is racist, but she didn't outright deny it either. Some saw this as playing it too safe. The real question is, what's the strategy here? One minute, you've got panelists trying to sound deep and insightful, and the next, it feels like they're reading lines from bad fortune cookies.
Asked if she agreed with Nikki Haley that America had never been a racist country, and she skillfully, I thought, avoided saying, yes, America has been racist. She totally avoided that. It was a little bit word salad.
Maybe Kamala Harris isn't the most charismatic speaker, but perhaps that's intentional. Maybe her role isn't to impress us with grand speeches, but rather to show up, say a few words, pause dramatically, and then leave us hanging. It's almost like watching someone attempt to deliver profound wisdom, but in the end, all they leave you with is a sense of emptiness.
Democrats have, which is abortion. There are a lot of women voters, even GOP women voters, who are mad as hell about Roe versus Wade going away. It doesn't matter what you think.
Meanwhile, Piers Morgan is out here giving The View exactly what it deserves. And what's wild is that people are actually backing him for calling it out, even suggesting it should be canceled. But here's the twist. Most people don't even realize that it's less of a talk show and more of a tool to rack up views by constantly bashing the opposition. So, what do you think? Did Piers go too far? Or is he just speaking his mind? What's the real strategy here? Fear-mongering? Or simply energizing the base? Should The View be canceled? Or does it just need a dose of real debate to find balance? We want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching.